Welcome to AP Statistics. In this video, we're going to talk about calculating descriptive statistics. So how to actually find the mean, the median, Q1, Q3, standard deviation using different sorts of technology. So basically the ins and the outs of how you can actually get the numbers that you need so you can talk about your data. Let's look at an example that we're going to use. How much sugar is there per serving in popular drinks? Rachel decided to sample 11 different, actually it's not 11, it should be 12, I apologize. Rachel decided to sample 12 different popular drinks and examine the sugar content in each by noting the amount of sugar in grams per serving. Here's her data. These are the different numbers or the different values of sugar in grams per serving in 12 different drinks. So let's just say that we want to get the descriptive statistics on this data, right? Mean, standard deviation, median, all that fun stuff. So rather than us wasting any time trying to figure it out all in our hand, on our own or by hand, we could use our calculator to do it. So I'm going to show you how we could use our TI-84 plus or just TI-84 regular addition to do it. So the first thing we have to do is actually enter our data into the calculator. So we're going to hit the stat button right in the middle, and right away we'll see edit. So we also have three menus here: edit, calculate, and test. We're going to use the edit. This is where we actually edit the data into the calculator. So go ahead and click on edit. And if there's anything there, that's the first question a lot of kids get, is how do I delete stuff that's there? So you use the little arrows and go to highlight the little L1, since for list 1. Once it's highlighted, hit clear down. So it's kind of like a select all and delete. Don't ever hit the delete button. That'll get rid of the whole list. We just want to clear it. So you could clear individually, like one number at a time, but that takes a while. So if you just highlight the L1, hit clear down, it'll clear everything for you. So clear it in the down button. All right, now we want to enter in our data. 44, enter. 49, enter, and so forth. As you go, please double check. The last thing you want to do is enter a number in wrong. And the next thing you know, every single value here on out is going to be incorrect. So we want to make sure we really take the time to make sure that our data is typed in correctly and fully. And, we don't accidentally type one in wrong. I mean, it happens to the best of us. Look, I almost just did it there. It should be a 56, not a 50, not a 5. And then actually go back to your data. Go back to your data, make sure that it's all in there correctly. It's really, 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 really worth it. You do not have to have it in there in any special order. Just got to be in there. Once you're done, hit second mode, quit out of there, and you're good to go. Now we actually want to calculate these descriptive statistics. So we're going to hit stat. This time we're going to select, move over to calculate and go to one variable stats. Now, hopefully you have your stat wizards turned on. If your screen's not looking like mine right now, you probably don't have your stat wizards turned on. So actually quit out of there again, hit mode, and under mode, make sure that the stat wizards command, you'll see it down here towards the bottom, and have to scroll for it, is turned on. If not, highlight the little word on, hit enter. All right, then when we go back to stat, calculate, one variable stats, you should see it set up like mine. The first thing we have to do is tell it which list to use. We want to tell it list 1. That is where it kind of defaults. But let's just say you have list 3 there, and you're like, I don't want list 3, I want list 1. So just delete that, hit clear or delete. And then to get the list 1, list 2, list 3, you just have to look above numeral 1, numeral 2, numeral 3. So second, number 1 is how you get the list 1. Right now, when we're just analyzing a single set of data, we're not going to type anything into frequency list here, so just leave that blank. If anything's there, delete it. And then move down to calculate, and here we go. Right at the top, we have the mean, 51.333. The next number is the sum of all the values. Not really going to be useful in this class. Then we have the sum of all the values squared. So if we would square every value, add them together. Again, not going to use that right now. Then we have S. This is the standard deviation, 20.782. Definitely want that number. That's a great number to have. Then we have sigma underneath that. Now this is kind of like standard deviation, but trust me, we don't need that. Very few situations this year in AP Stats will we use that. So please remember, when we're working with the sample, S is the standard deviation of the sample, not this sigma, please. Then we have N. That's simply how many values we had. We knew we had 12. Then if you continue to scroll down, it's that little arrow here on the left, that means we could scroll down. So we have the min 6, Q1 41, median 52.5, Q3 is 63.5, and then we have the max 87. So that's that 5-number summary that you could use to make a box and whisker plot. Now the only thing that calculator does not do is it does not find outliers, and it does not find the IQR. So you would quickly need to do 63.5 minus 41. That is Q3 minus Q1 to get your IQR. The IQR is 22.5. you could then by hand identify outliers using the fence method. So Q1 minus 1.5 times the IQR, find that lower fence, Q3 plus 1.5 times the IQR to find that upper fence, and then you could look back through your data and determine if there's any outliers or not. Pretty nice and simple. Now, another really cool feature of your calculator is your calculator can make a box and whisker plot. Let me show you how to do that real quick. So first, you do have to have your data entered into the calculator, which we already do. We already have it entered into list 1. From there, we're going to hit second y equals, and we're going to go to our stat plots. You have 3 options. Click on any one of them. I usually just typically go with plot 1. Make sure it's turned on by highlighting the word on and hitting enter. Then scroll down, and you're going to highlight the one that looks like a box and whisker plot. Now, we want to highlight the one with the little dots. That means it will show outliers. There is another box plot next to it that does not show outliers. In this class, we want what's technically called a modified box plot, meaning it shows outliers. So we're going to go ahead and select enter on that. We then have to tell it which list to use. So again, if there's like an L2 here, or maybe if there's an L5, and you're like, I don't want L5, so just clear it out. Second, number 1 is how you get L1. Usually does default to L1 though. Frequency, leave it 1. The mark is just what they're going to use to identifying outliers. You could use a square, a plus sign, a dot, a square, whatever. Just that's what's going to mark outliers if there are any. And then when you're all good to go here, you can exit out of there and hit zoom number 9. That's the one thing a lot of kids forget about. Zoom 9 is zoom 9. That's how you zoom in on any stats you have entered into your calculator. So zoom 9, and there we see it. Beautiful, gorgeous, and it even shows us there's an outlier in our data. So as much as our calculator doesn't directly tell you what outliers are, if you actually go and make the box plot, it will identify them for you. And the last cool thing here is you can hit the trace button right next to graph, and then you can actually trace left and right. So notice it starts on the median. The median is 52.5. Go to the left, there's Q1. There's the next value that was not an outlier. Remember, your whisker goes to the lowest value unless it's an outlier. And then if you go all the way over, look, we see that we do have an outlier. It's 6. And the same thing when we go to the right, we see Q3, and then our max, which was not an outlier. Pretty cool, pretty easy. Awesome that our calculator could do all that for you. And you are allowed to use a TI-84 calculator on the AP exam, so highly recommend that you understand how I just went through all that. But I do want to show you a couple really cool websites that could do all this for you as well. There's one called Calculator Soup. All you have to do is enter the data into the little data set box here. So again, we're going to go back to our data and enter it all in there. Or if you have it like saved somewhere, you can just copy and paste. But for the most part, what we're going to have to do is just go ahead and enter it in there. So 44, 49, 38. Sorry, I guess I could have had this done for you, but I actually wanted to show you the process of going through and doing this on your own. I know it's kind of boring, but you can always fast forward here. But it's really important that once again, you type one number in wrong, you're going to be wrong. So it's really important that you take your time here. Last thing you want to do is have one of those numbers in there right. I believe I ended at 56 there. And again, don't be afraid to go back to your data and make sure that it's all correct. Don't want to make a mistake there. All right, then all you got to do is hit calculate. And it's pretty cool. You can scroll down. It shows you the min, the max, the range. 12 is how many values you had. Again, it shows you the sum. It shows you the mean. It shows you the median. I don't like how it uses a different symbol here. Now, if you zoom in, that's an X, the tilde over it. That is not something that's in the AP Stats curriculum. To identify the median as X with a little tilde above it, we just write the word median. The mode will show you the frequency occurring scores. Every score occurred once, so there technically is no mode. Standard deviations there. The variance is just your standard deviation squared, which we'll talk more about later on in the year. But that's an important number to have as well. It identifies your outliers. Excuse me, we'll get there in a second. But your quartiles first, Q1, Q2, Q3. Remember, Q2 is the same thing as the median. The interquartile range, it actually does calculate that for you. That's kind of cool. Remember, your calculator doesn't do that. And then look, it actually will tell you if there's any outliers. It tells you there's an outlier at 6. So pretty cool there. Nice feature. Now, cool website, Calculator Soup. I'll throw a link to it in the description of this video. That way you can use it. I love it a lot. Now, the other thing you can do is copy that data. And there's another website I want to show you that can make box plots. It's pretty cool. It's a nice box plot generator website. Again, from Statology. I'll throw a link to this in the description as well. But if you just copy your data and paste it in here, generate box plot, boom, like literally click away, it generates the box plot for you. It does make them vertical instead of horizontal, which I guess it doesn't really matter. And again, we do see that outlier there. And all of our data is nice there. So it's pretty cool there. And if you scroll down, it does give you that 5-number summary as well. This does not give you the mean, the mean and standard deviation, all that fun stuff. It just gives you the 5-number summary and your box plot. But a pretty cool website as well. Now, I do want to show you too that Google Sheets, I do want to mention that Google Sheets does do all this as well. But my only issue with Google Sheets is that you have to do every one individually. You have to type in a formula to find the median, find the mean, and it just, to me, it's cumbersome, and it just takes some time. The calculator does a really nice job, and you're allowed to use that on the AP Stats exam, and this Calculator Soup website does everything for you pretty cool too. All you got to do is enter your data in, so kind of nice little feature there to get stuff that you need. All right, that's it for this video on how to get descriptive statistics. Hopefully it was pretty simple, and you'll utilize these websites.